Hi, my name is Jacqueline, and for my lesson for CSAS, I did non-orientable surfaces and introduction to topology. Topology is a branch of mathematics most people aren't exposed to until college if they study math. It's a lot like geometry, except that you can stretch and shrink and twist surfaces without changing what they actually are. Additionally, topologists can think about different ways to manipulate a given shape to form something new and exciting that you might not see in your everyday life. For instance, I can start with a rectangle. Take this strip of paper here. And I can make an equivalence relation. Like the name implies, I'm setting parts of this rectangle to be equivalent. For instance, this edge here and this edge here. If I make those equivalent, I bring them together, pretend that they're one, and then I have a cylinder. This isn't that exciting, but I can do more with my equivalence relation, because with my cylinder, I started at the bottom corners, I went to the tops. Instead, I could start at the top of one and the bottom of another and go the other direction. To do this, I have to twist my paper and bring the edges together. This gives me a Mobius band. Unlike my cylinder, we don't see this every day, partly because it's a non-orientable surface. That means it doesn't have a defined inside or a defined outside. Friends, I can show this by starting at the seam I made with my finger on the surface. And if I just keep going along the surface, I end back up at my seam without ever taking my finger off the paper. Well, my pointer finger. This shows that I can start on the outside at the seam, go to the inside here, and come back out. If I did this with my cylinder, I wouldn't have been able to do that without taking my finger off the paper. So the cylinder, like most ordinary objects, is orientable. This is the case with a sphere and with a cube. They have a defined inside and a defined outside. There are other examples of non-orientable surfaces that you can get starting with a rectangle. One example is the Klein bottle. You can see that this has an open bottom, then it comes up through the big part, and then it loops around with the neck and empties into here. Now, this is a little harder to understand that it's non-orientable because you can't quite trace along it. It's not large enough for that. But we can see that there's a Mobius band in the Klein bottle. If you take a part of the surface and just cut it out, you'll end up with a Mobius band again. So it is non-orientable. Another way to see that is if I had water inside here and I turned it. The water would first come down into the neck of the Klein bottle, and then I turn it again and it would come out. So the Klein bottle is also non-orientable. All this you can understand with topology by starting with just a simple rectangle.